everyone, my name is Amanda, and today we are talking about the 5 books that I want to read by the end of 2019. So far this year I've read, I think it says on Goodreads, 49 books. My initial goal was actually only 32, which I know for most book bloggers is a pretty low standard, but my life has changed a lot this past year, so I wasn't sure how much I'd be able to get done. But throughout the year I just kept reading, and now I'm almost at 50, and I was pretty excited. So now I've raised it to the standard, 52 books a year. And I see some people finishing 200 a year. I'm like, you go, you do that. I don't know how you do that, but I'm proud of you. But that being said, there are 5 books that have been on my TBR or been on my radar for quite some time. Most of them, actually I think all 5 of them, were released in 2019. But you hear about them a year or 2 in advance. So I've been looking at these books for a while. And all of them are really hyped. So I pre-ordered them, they came in the mail, and then I stuck them on my shelves. Not that any of us ever do that. They're the 5 books that I personally am hoping to read by the end of the year. All right. The first book that I want to read by the end of 2019 is Gideon The Ninth by Tamsyn, is that how I say it? Tamsyn Muir. I got a pretty spray black edges one, which, usually in the US, you don't get the sprayed edges very often unless you pre-order from a European bookshop. I know a lot of them come from Waterstones, I believe. However, I only have 2 sprayed edge books. The other one, you can see right here, Crown of Feathers, which was a Owl Crate book. It has pretty purple edges anyway. But here we have Gideon the Ninth. Now, if you haven't seen this book, I'm not really sure where you've been, because this has been everywhere in 2019 up until its publication. Even now, it's still popping up on blogs, on social media. Everyone is still talking about this book. And the second book in the series, don't remember the title right now, something else, The Ninth. The cover was released for it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So before I can get my sights set on that one, I do need to read Gideon. I'm not sure what order I'm going to read these books in, no particular order, but how can you say no to necromancing lesbians? I am all for that. So I am really looking forward to this. I'm anticipating it being a 4-star read. So we'll see how it goes. The next book I want to talk about is Song of the Dead by Sarah Glenn Marsh. I read the first book in the series as an arc. It was Reign of the Dead. I believe I gave it 4 stars. I might be wrong about that. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the world that she built and all the characters, the plot. It was beautifully written. I very much enjoyed it, and I think it tackled a topic that some people didn't enjoy the way she did it, but how she handled grief. The main character in this book, let's see if I can get her name real quick. It's not it. Odessa. She handled grief in a very self-destructive manner, and a lot of that first book was how her going through that self-destruction and then how she came back out of it. And I thought that was really fascinating. It was interesting to see grief and self-destructive tendencies are something that a lot of people go through. So it was nice seeing that represented in a book. That's not something I feel like you see a lot. But of course, I read that one as an arc. This one came out in either January or February of 2019. I was really excited to read it. Obviously, I pre-ordered it, got the nice pretty blue hardback, and then I stuck it on my shelf, and there it has sat. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this at the end of the year. It has a lot of starred reviews from School Library Journal and the book list, but I'm really disappointed in myself for not having finished it. I actually started reading it right after it came out, and then, life happens, and I had to sit it down for a while, and I never picked it back up. So hopefully I get back to it soon. Book on my list, which I had actually forgot that I owned until relatively recently, which is ridiculous because I was really excited about it, is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. Ooh, it's very glossy. The person on it is really glossy, so the light's reflecting funny. However, this book, it's a pretty short for being a fantasy. It's only, just over 350 pages. But this book came out, it didn't get a lot of hype. It got a little bit, not a lot. Not nearly as much as Gideon did. But it still was on my radar. We have harbingers, I can't speak. You know, I've only ever seen that word written. I'm not entirely sure how to say it. Harbingers. I hope you know what I mean. Of death. They help to, from what I understand, they do mercy killings. And, you know, I'm just going to read a little bit of the description here. Fi abides by one rule: look after your own. As the featured chieftain of a shunned castle of mercy killers, she relies on her wits and bone magic drawn from the teeth of dead witches to protect her band. The crows take more abuse than coin, so when they're called to collect the royal dead, Fi hopes they'll be able to find the payout of a lifetime. Now that just sounds fascinating. I'm assuming this is Fi, Fae, Fee. It's spelled F-I-E. Again, we only ever read these things. We don't hear them spoken. But this is an exciting sounding book. I loved, as soon as I heard about it, I put it on my Goodreads. And I obviously have a copy of it, which I had forgotten about, which was really disappointing. I didn't remember I had it until I moved and had to unpack all of my books. But I'm really looking forward to this book. I hope to read it by the end of the year. It's definitely on my top 5 to read by the end of the year. The next book that it got a lot of hype. It is a fantasy debut. Everyone has been talking about it. It's been crazy. You can't get on Twitter or Goodreads or blogs or anywhere without seeing this book. And I can't blame them. It is gorgeous. Look at this. There Will Come a Darkness by Katy Rose Poole. I love the black, because the black is like a satin finish, and then the red and white are more glossy, and it's beautiful cover. But we all know that sometimes within a beautiful wrapping is a crappy story. Now, a lot of people have loved this book, and it seems to be very polarizing. I've seen a lot of, 4 and 5 star reviews or 1 and 2 star. Like, there doesn't seem to be much of a middle of a road with this book. But I'm still really excited about it. Like Kirsten White blurbed it on the back. I can't miss debut from an exciting new talent. I defy you not to lose yourself in this vast, luscious fantasy. How can I deny that? Vast, luscious fantasy. I love that word, luscious. But I am so excited about this book. With my excitement, certainly comes a little bit of apprehension just because of, like I said, the polarizing reviews. I'm really looking forward to this. The only reason I haven't read it is because I have the attention span of a small child, and it is nearly 500 pages, which is not something I usually do, which is kind of funny because you'll see the book I have next, which is crazy. I'm really looking forward to this. I want to find the time and the motivation to sit down and read a book this long. So hopefully we get to this one. I anticipate this one being 4 stars as well. Oh, for the others, I only brought it up with Gideon. I anticipate this one also being a 4 star. Song of the Dead, I'll be honest, I'm probably going to do a 3 or 3.5 for this one is what I'm anticipating. I liked the first book, but like I said, I read the first portion of this and I set it down. But still think it's going to be good. However, now we have, I can't get a hold of it. It's so big, it's hard to pick up. If I manage to finish those other 4 books, I'm going to tackle my most anticipated release of the year. And it's my most anticipated release because it's from an author I absolutely love. But this sucker, I mentioned that I have the attention span of a toddler. Give me 3 seconds and I'm gonna look somewhere else. Like I don't have an attention span whatsoever. But let me find the page so you can figure out what book I'm talking about. We have page 804 is the last of this book. Do you know what it is? It is a fantasy. I believe it's a high fantasy, which is not usually my cup of tea, but I'm excited anyway. You come up with what it is? All right. The Priory. Ooh, it's really shiny. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Now, I read Samantha Shannon's other series. You can see them kind of up here. The Bone Season. Love them. Absolutely love them. That series is the I'm not going to hold this up the whole time. It's too freaking heavy. The Bone Season Septology are the books that got me back into reading in my early to mid 20s. I had stopped reading, it had stopped being an interest to me. And whenever I found the Bone Season, which was a completely fluke find, I was just meandering through a bookstore one day on my lunch break at work, and I saw these, and the cover was really interesting. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna give that a shot. Yeah, well, let's see. And I fell in love, and that series is what got me back into reading. It's why I have a booktube. It's why I have a blog. It's why I'm part of Book Twitter and Bookstagram and everything like that, because those books gave me the joy for reading that I had lost. And I'm forever grateful to Samantha Shannon for that. So when she announced this giant dragon book, look at this thing. If someone broke into my house, this is the book I would pick up to try and bash them on the face, because this would hurt them immensely, I feel, if I could get it lifted over my head to do so. Anyway, but so excited for this book. The reviews have been absolutely glowing, and I want to read it so badly. I love Samantha Shannon's writing. I love her presence on social media. She's very open and honest when she's having struggles with writing. She lets us know how she's doing her research for her stories. I think recently she went to, I think it was Paris. I might be wrong. To do some research for her story so she can accurately describe what these buildings look like and the feel of things. I love that. She's very committed, and I just really like Samantha Shannon. I really want to read Priory, but it is such a monster of a book, and it's intimidating. It is genuinely so big that it is intimidating. I will get to it. I hope if I finish the other 4 books that I've shown you here, this is the 5th one that I'm going to read. Maybe it'll be my end of the year, her last hurrah, But I do anticipate this book being a 5-star read. Once I finally get to it, I truly think this is going to be a 5-star read. I love Samantha Shannon, as I mentioned. This book seems so interesting. There's not a lot of high fantasy I've seen that is written by a woman. And I think that's really great. I think she deserves more of a call out for that, for going, yes, you wrote a wonderful story. Why are you being left out of these conversations, But I cannot wait for this book. I'm excited. I picked it up several times when I get through the first page and go, no, it's too big. I can't do it. No. So we'll see how it goes. So if I finish those other 4, I'm going to read Priory. And I hope to be able to do all 5 of these by the end of the year. Like I said, I'm not a huge 100, 200 book a year person. If I hit 52, woo, I'm thrilled. That's me. But I'm really anticipating these reads. I think that I'm going to enjoy all of them, some more than others. But I'm really excited for them. And if any of these are on your TBR, if you've read any of them, just talk to me about it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll talk to you next time. Have a beautiful day.